We're at the dawn of the final race of the Fay Legacy Cup and the Prime Time Summer Series. This is the HMS Service and Maintenance 300 at Pocono. We start with the main headlines from this week overall. After the race at Flemington, Thomas Culler was penalized for that contact with Ruby Carson at the late stages of that race. HQS Racing appealed the penalty, but not only the penalty was upheld on a 10-2 vote, a $25,000 fine was also given to Culler, adding even more penalty to the 5-race suspended ban he got and the grid penalty he got. In livelier news, after much talking and jostling and conversing, the 2019 competition agreement has been ratified, and it has a couple of items that bring seismic change to the Challenge Series and to the North American Auto Club, because the provisionals, as was spoken before at length over the last few weeks, were indeed expanded. We go from 24 to 32 provisionals, meaning the top 32 in owners points at the end of the season will be locked into qualifying for the first 8 events of 2019. That expansion is coupled with the starting field of the races becoming 40 cars across all tracks, and not only on tracks larger than a mile. A few other rules are a change in the race winners' points starting next season, plus the whole top 10 receiving points for qualifying instead of just the top 5 as it is right now. But these are waters that will roll under the bridge of the North American Auto Club later on. We might have the opportunity to talk about them at length, but not today. A less fortunate pre-race news item that we have is that we can confidently say that a North American Auto Club team is going up for sale. Triumph Motorsports, the team behind the 15 and the 51, has been put up for sale, and some sources say that it has already been sold. The main reason is the advanced age of its owner, the good old Jeb Lacey, who's 83 years old and has been fielding this outfit in one way or another since 1989. He previously talked at length about retiring from ownership, but a couple of bouts with sickness, that we don't know which sickness it was, they never disclosed it to us, they have seemingly expedited his retirement to the end of the season. This, of course, has dropped like a bomb at the garage, and we don't know right now who will buy the assets of this crew, but the rumors are swelling about teams from within, teams from without, buying into what is Triumph Motorsports. But again, that's another news item that we're only gonna know really down the line. But now let's take a look at the starting lineup for the HMS Service and Maintenance 300. Taking the pole position is Rebecca Peller and sharing the front row of the field with Ryan Falkner, 2 title contenders that are looking to rally and fight for the title right now. Starting in 3rd place is Tammy Barton, who is looking to run away with the Rookie Challenge, and alongside her, Thomas Tucker in the middle of a rally forward, sharing the 2nd row. Charlie Falkner, the Challenge Series Legacy Cup and Summer Series triple leader, starts in 5th place, with Kate Taylor, one of his challengers in the Legacy Cup, getting a very strong 6th place starting spot. Joey Torkson, another great superspeedway qualifying effort for Torkson Racing's number 0, while Lucy Martin trying to break from a big rut over the last few races, starting on the outside of row number 4. Marcy Crawford with a surprise result, leading Meet with a 9th place start, while Jamal Schmidt leads Ernest Lewis Racing in 10th. Crawford's teammate and twice a race winner this season, Flemington and the Greater Toronto Area Speedway, Kendra Brittany, starting in 11th, while 2015 Series champion Corbin Dempsey lines up in 12th. Katie Ashcroft and Riley McKee lined up on row number 7. McKee's gonna have to work his way forward early if he wants to beat Charlie Falkner for the Summer Series. Likewise, for the men on the inside of row number 8, Boyd Abbott will also need to get moving early to challenge Charlie for the Legacy Cup, while Lee Schmidt on the 43 starts on his outside. Athena Whitley and Vernon Hargrove make up an all-rookie row number 9, while Lime Rock winner Joey Anderson and Ronnie Samples line up on row number 10. Joey Anderson has an outside shot for the Legacy Cup, but it's pretty much only mathematical, and he needs a lot of help to make that happen. On row 11, we got Lucia Harper, the 2nd highest qualifying Shield car, and Carly Ellison, the highest qualifying HQS Racing car. Robert Burton, two-time series champion and one of the challengers for the Legacy Cup, lined up together with the last man to win the Challenge Series title in a rookie season, Mac Henley, who won the Indianapolis leg of the Legacy Cup. Peter Johnson and Matt Stern make up row 13, while Luke Pellerin could not produce anything better than 27th place in qualifying, sharing row 14 with Nelson Racing's third car, driven today by English road ringer Tony Hart, who has been getting more and more shots on the ovals as of late. We'll see what happens with him next season. Ethan Collins brings the rear of the neat cars, while Thomas Sculler was the third best HQS car in qualifying, but the penalty he received in Flemington has knocked him to the back of the field, meaning that, by the way, everyone behind him gains one position. Starting with Zach Tech's Colin Kaiser, who has been punching well above his expected weight so far given how messy that effort got earlier in the season, while Brett Finley, who is a short tracker, was unable to do much today on the 15. Row 17 has another pair of road specialists and short tracker with Mega McDonald and Warren Majeski lining up 33rd and 34th. Majeski, remember, won the third leg of the Cup at Mosport in a master stroke of strategy that had to depend on a lot of luck, but he joins Mac Henley and Charlie Falkner as the two other winners of the Legacy Cup so far. Caitlin Richler and Ashley Richardson did not have a good time at all in qualifying, and by what's almost a miracle, actually made the field on time. They were two drivers that were nearly banking on making it solely by the provisionals, with two other girls that had the same type of hardship in time trials, Hibiki Murata and Kristen Young, beginning their races in 37th and 38th. While having to qualify through the usage of their provisionals are Scott Overton and Ruby Carson, bringing the rear of the field, two drivers that had their first contact with Pocono Raceway this weekend. They didn't like Pocono didn't like them either. On time, Overton was 44th and Carson was last, 52nd, after not even being able to set a proper time in group qualifying due to an engine failure early in the session. An irony in all of this is that when looking at the list of drivers that failed to qualify, is that Scott accidentally team-killed, like the gamers would call it, his teammate Chris Endicott, because Endicott in the 63 would have made the field in 40th place, but he was knocked out by the two provisionals together with Creeper Stevenson. Also for Overton Motorsports, Lily Briscoe fails to qualify, with Harriet Moore for Ashcroft Family Racing, both Glanville cars, Allison Smith for David Tyner Racing, both Barucho cars, then Ryan and Rick Lewis, Kira Downer, Adam Patterson, and David Lamar are the other drivers that do not make the field for the HMS Service and Maintenance 300, which is a race that we're scheduled to have 120 laps on, the last 300 miles to finish the Legacy Cup with an expected fuel window of around 35 laps if you split the minimum and maximum possible length of a fuel run. Though the tires have been chewed on by the asphalt so far, we could see broader strategies at play today depending on how and when the cautions come out. It's something that we're going to have to see it happen as the race progresses. Of course, Pocono Raceway was made with 3 different bankings in each of its turns in this tricky triangle, with turn 1 based off of the old Trenton Raceway in Jersey, turn 2 after the Long Pond Straight, driving like Indianapolis 4 turns, and after the chute, turn 3 banked very shallow like Milwaukee's historical Centenary Mile. Weather here in Long Pond couldn't be better. It's warm despite the overcast skies, a little light breeze rolling through to make this end of summer heat very much bearable, which is great because I wouldn't want this capacity crowd here in Pocono to miss this race event on Labor Day weekend. But of course, I would be ignoring the 2 most important factors of this weekend if we didn't talk about the scenarios for the Summer Series and the Legacy Cup. Let's start with the Summer Series, which is worth $2 million. Charlie Falkner has a 25-point advantage with 2 race wins, so what he needs to do is score at least 15 points to end McKee's chances of winning that money, so 26th place for Charlie Falkner would suffice. McKee not only will need to finish 26 positions ahead of Thomas Tucker, he also needs to finish 10 positions behind Thomas Tucker, 26 positions ahead of Falkner, but he also needs to finish at most 10 positions behind Thomas Tucker to not lose second place. So it's not like this is a true dog race, because Thomas Tucker is running on the outside, needing to make up a minimum of 37 points to beat Charlie Falkner, unless the snowfall number 9 wins the race. Then Tucker can win on a tiebreaker by finishing merely 37 positions ahead of the red 85. But he also needs to beat McKee by some 10-11 positions regardless. On the Legacy Cup, however, the scenario is much more precarious for Charlie Falkner. He has to contend with 8 other drivers. 4 of them are much closer than him than McKee and Tucker are. To clinch the 200 bonus points and completely change the battle lines in the championship, Charlie Falkner would need to finish at least in 12th place. So not a short calling at all. He's gonna have to hustle. Boyd Abbott and Robert Burton must finish 13 and 14 positions ahead of Falkner to win it without hinging on a tiebreaker. You see there on the graphics, there are other results in the sequence where they were scored: Indianapolis, Oswego, Mosport. The tiebreaker is the second best finish, then the third best finish, and then the worst finish. So Jamal Schmidt, by finishing 7th place in Oswego, could beat Falkner in the event of a tie, provided the Midnight 55 does win a race. As they would draw on their best and second best finishes, Schmidt would have the best third result. Kate Taylor is the main outside contender, but even then, he hinges on a 22 position gap to win it, so a very tall calling for him. On the second page, however, we have the real outsiders. Luke Pellerin, Kendra Brittany, Brett Finley, Joey Anderson outright need disaster to befall the main contenders if they want to even have a shot at the 200 bonus points, because Falkner would by all means have to retire for the chances for these drivers to open up. We're gonna track their situations, but let's just not give them hope. I think I spoke at length about everything that's going on here in Pocono. Let's just get to the main show, the HMS Service and Maintenance 300. Let's go trackside. The pace car leads Becky Pellerin off turn number 3 here in Pocono. Ryan Falkner to her outside. 120 laps in front of us. The green flag is in the air here in Pocono. You see there how the field already scrambles into 3 wide as a few people like Lucia Harper, Warren Majeski, Corbin Dempsey already shifted lines as they come into turn number 1. Pellerin has the edge ahead. Demi Barton trying to work her way forward ahead of Falkner. Charlie Falkner working his way already, edging the number 9 of Thomas Tucker to take 4th place. Joey Torkson having a very good start, trying to go for 5th place as well. As they reach the Long Pond Straight, the longest straight in this track. You see there the standings on the Fay Legacy Cup and the Summer Series in this early goings on. Charlie Falkner winning both right now by a fairly large gap, as Demi Barton rounding out turn number 3 already side by side with Brian Falkner, while Charlie Falkner pushes his son on the outside. Corbin Dempsey trying to force a 3 wide there under Joey Torkson, and Charlie Falkner, not enough. He loses a lot of steam and has to back off behind the 0 car. Luke Pellerin started all the way in 27th place, but already on lap number 2 finds himself in 23rd, already jumped 4 positions in the field and is advancing. He's one of the outsiders to win the Legacy Cup, but it's a little ways away. Likewise, Jamal Schmidt, who's running right now in 15th place, also trying to gain those points and trying to make something happen. Doesn't look like he has a lot right now. It depends a lot on the pace he can set and the pace that this man can set for the rest of the field, as Ryan Falkner cleared Demi Barton, and now Charlie Falkner clears Demi Barton to take the 3rd position now from the 97 car. And you see there how Riley McKee currently running in 11th place on the outside of Marcy Crawford, forcing his way through, drafting the 98 of Lucy Martin to try to take the 10th position, and looks like he will get that done, while Joey Torkson and Thomas Tucker battling for the 8th position. McKee already shifts the lines to the inside and starts drafting the number 9. They need to gain as many positions as they possibly could and hope that misfortune befalls the 85, but as we are to complete the 3rd lap, Charlie Falkner is at the complete inverse of misfortune. He's right now in the 3rd position. And now he has taken 2nd from Ryan. Ryan drafting him, trying to clear the 81 of Corbin Dempsey. Kate Taylor running there in 5th place. Lucy Martin battling with the 22 and the number 9 for the 9th position. And Lucy Martin's gonna do it and chase down her own sister to get a draft partnership, while Charlie Falkner now chasing down Rebecca Pellerin at the end of the 5th, at the end of the 4th lap, beginning of the 5th lap. You can see how each position he gains creates a larger and larger gap to Kate Taylor and Boyd Abbott on the Legacy Cup, and an immense gap to Riley McKee and Thomas Tucker in the Summer Series. As of now, if there was another race in the Summer Series, Thomas Tucker wouldn't already be a contender. Boyd Abbott currently running in 14th place, trying to chase down Kate Taylor to at least finish 2nd in the Legacy Cup if the current situation holds. He's trying to move slowly, piecemeal, calmly, trying to gain the positions as he can, while Kendra Brittany right there running in 17th place at the conclusion of the 5th lap, rounding out turn number 3 on the inside of the 55 and the 88. The 55 and the 88 have dropped quite a ways, but well, not dropped, they are climbing through the field, especially Luke Pellerin, but they are quite a ways away from their 2 teammates, well, informal teammates, in the 25 and the 27. In the case of Jamal Schmidt, of course, Luke Star Motorsports and Ernest Lewis Racing had a long time technical alliance. Essentially, the cars essentially get made on Ernest Lewis Racing shop. They're assembled in their large shop, while Luke Star Motorsports sets up their own cars independently from Ernest Lewis, as Corbin Dempsey now chasing down the 85 of Charlie Falkner. Falkner chasing down the 27 of Becky Pellerin, trying to find space for a move. He tries the inside. He's going to try to make it happen on the inside of turn number 3 as they come around down the chute for turn number 3. Is it enough? He has the nose. Not enough. Pellerin has the nose ahead. They're going to round out the exit of the corner. Pellerin's going to get a good jump, but they're side by side. Dead heat coming to the start-finish line. Becky Pellerin's going to retain the lead. Corbin Dempsey's going to try to make a move on the inside. Try for a 3 wide. He sees that that created space for the 25K Taylor. He gave up, and then he tried again. Forces a 3 wide for the lead. Becky Pellerin trying to clear both. And there goes Corbin Dempsey on the inside. 3 wide for the lead. 8 laps in. A daring move by the driver of the 81, the 2015 Series champion. And there goes Corbin Dempsey on the long punt straight with the draft help of the 25K Taylor, who's also trying to win the Legacy Cup. So he's also trying to put as many cars as he can between him and Charlie Falkner. Rounding out turn number 2, Corbin Dempsey has the nose ahead as they're going to come down to turn number 3. You see how the field split itself into 3 distinct packs. They enter turn number 3. Corbin Dempsey to the inside. Clears easily the 85 of Charlie Falkner. And Corbin Dempsey is your new race leader, rounding out turn number 3. But Becky Pellerin already on the following lap on a rush to recover the position. She already goes on the inside of the 85 on turn number 2, trying to set up a move on the turn number 3. Not enough still. But she has the nose ahead coming to turn number 3. She's going to clear the 85 easily in the same fashion that the 81 cleared the 85. Further back in the field, Joey Anderson climbing his way through the field slowly as well together with Luke Pellerin. Pellerin right now in 16th. Anderson right now in 18th, battling with the 8 of Matt Stern and the 79 of Lucia Harper on a 3 wide. Robert Burton running up there as well in 20th place. Ruby Carson also advancing through the field. She's now in 21st place after starting in the last position. As we reach the end of lap number 10, coming to turn number 3, Becky Pellerin already makes the move for the lead. Nose ahead, draft from Charlie Falkner. Falkner trying to find a little space there. Not able to. Pellerin clears him and clears Dempsey. Joey Torkson joins the battle for the lead. He's in the fray now. All the top 4 in a blanket with the 25 chasing down the 89 right there in the vicinity. Becky Pellerin back on the lead as you see there how the field split up into the multiple distinct packs. You see the second pack led by Ronnie Samples and Thomas Tucker. The third pack led by Luke Pellerin and Joey Anderson with Matt Stern in close vicinity. And you see how the field has spread out massively. While Corbin Dempsey now takes the second position again from Charlie Falkner. They're side by side battling very closely in the back of the field. You see there Ashley Richardson, Hibiki Murata, Brett Philly, and the 33 of Kristen Young. All of these 4 have shown performance in other types of tracks outside of the super speedways, especially the 58. The 58 has been fantastic on the short tracks. She's got a nickname that I would give her on air, but standards and practices would lock me in a dark room and beat me, so I'm not going to do that. search Twitter, folks, but she's becoming very popular for multiple reasons over the last few weeks. And it's kind of amusing to see that, especially as the announcement of the new sponsorship deal the 58 team will have for the rest of the season in 2019 and beyond. As you look at the camera focus on Lucy Barton right now in 6th place, she's trying to rally back into the championship form, but she's quite a ways behind Ryan Falkner right now in 15th place. Lap 15, 9th place, bringing the rear of the lead back with Demi Martin and the 0 of Joy Turkson. Becky Pellerin continues to lead, holding off the 85 of Charlie Falkner, the 81 of Corbin Dempsey back there. You see the 22, the 25, the 98 battling very closely. Problems for Carly Allison. Whoa! Big scramble, a little contact with the 62 of Scott Overton and the 30 of Colin Kaiser. Holds up the 52 of Hibiki Murata. And Carly Allison up in smoke. And she's the first retirement of this race. 17 laps in of 120. She's not even 1/6 off the way through here in Pocono. As you watch there, the front of the field battling very closely. Corbin Dempsey hanging on, fighting with the 85. While the 25 and the 98 are battling together. 27 continues to lead by a widening gap. Not as wide as she would like, but wide enough to breathe easier for a little while. Another driver that has been climbing the field very slowly and calmly is Caitlin Richler, and now she makes them on the inside of the number 88 for the 16th position. Matt Stern drafting her through. Ruby Carson, Joey Anderson, 2 other climbers right there. Robert Burton staying still inside the top 25, but not gaining as much as I believe he would need to gain to be a challenger for the Fay Legacy Cup. But as you see right there, Caitlin Richler makes a very easygoing move as we open lap number 18. Thomas Tucker and Boyd Abbott running very closely together. Catherine Ashcroft right there, Kitty Ashcroft, also not too far behind. She's running in 15th, while Thomas Tucker running in 11th, Boyd Abbott running 12th. As you see there, the leaders have found themselves in a little bit of a train as we open lap number 19. Corbin Dempsey tries to set up a move on Charlie Falkner. Corbin Dempsey's going to try to set up a move on Lucy Barton. He gives up. Riley McKee thinks of setting up a move. He's going to do it. He's going to force a 3 wide, side by side. Corbin Dempsey, Charlie Falkner, Riley McKee, Kate Taylor and Lucy Barton, and there goes Taylor past the 98, the 22 past the 98 as well. The 0 is going to try to go past the 98 as well. Hibiki Murata, after losing the pack a little bit after that trouble with Carly Allison holding her back, she's trying to catch back up, but without the draft, it has been especially difficult. The driver of the 52, she has been consistent enough, but anonymous still, which means that while she has been very competent, very strong, has done strong showings, she doesn't look like that on the scoreline. But when you look at the point standings, she's very stable inside the top 15. Trouble! In the back of the field, Joey Anderson, Caitlin Richler, Tony Hart, Matt Stern, a lot of front-end damage. A lot of trouble. Thomas Culler tags the 03 there. Let's see what happened. They were coming out of turn number 3. Joey Anderson and Caitlin Richler get together. Anderson head on into the wall. The 96 of Tony Hart, the 8 of Matt Stern. Let's see what happened there. Caitlin Richler holding on the outside. The 03 drifting, and she drifts down, hooks the 03, and that's trouble. You can see how the Chew gets hit multiple times in the progress of this crash as she spins around, hooking the 03. A lot of trouble early, 22 laps in. Let's watch Robert Burton's view of it. He's side by side with Mag McDonald, and he sees Faithful tags a little bit of the Chew there, but not enough to do damage. You see how the field has to scramble around. Let's follow Matt Stern. Matt Stern, he was right there in the middle of the line, right behind Burton. Him and Lucia Harper were side by side. Harper picked the line, and the doors just closed on front of Stern. Stern gets involved, and not a lot he could have done there. Ryan Falkner up in smoke. The 89 up in smoke. The 9th place up in smoke. 24 laps in. Something happened when he was slowing down, and the car completely gave up the ghost. The clutch completely imploded in that car. That is so unusual. That is so unusual for the 89. And that is right as the field's getting ready to go to the pits. You see how everyone comes in there. The 89 still smoking in as he makes his way up to the garage. Large blowout for the 89. That should get Charlie Falkner a little bit worried as you see the field pitting. And you see how everyone gains positions after Corbin Dempsey does a fairly slow stop. They took their sweet time with it, making adjustments, seeing what they can do with that car. And that's going to keep Rebecca Pellerin and Charlie Falkner in the lead as this little train leads the field to the green. And we are back on here in Pocono lap 28 of 120. We are nearing the first quarter of the race through, as you see there as they come into turn number 1. The 85 maintains the lead. Riley McKee takes third place. Tammy Martin and Kay Taylor battling for the fourth position as they come into turn number 1. Very close, tight battle. Charlie Falkner trying to make a move on the inside. Is he going to be able to? He tries to set it up as they're going down the long pond, going to turn number 2. Pellerin on the outside. The better line on turn 2 is the inside. And Falkner gets the nose ahead, and he's going to clear the 27 with ease. With ease, entering the chute to turn number 3, and Charlie Falkner, new race leader, leading away with Becky Pellerin unable to make a move. Riley McKee and Kay Taylor battling for the third position. Charlie Falkner is your new race leader. And you see how he has Becky Pellerin still right behind him. So Becky's not going to let that one fly. She let him lead the lap, but she already makes the move on the inside. As the field's starting to settle there, you see how she makes the move. Tries to make it work side by side. Turn number 1, coming out of turn number 1 into the long straightaway. She has the nose ahead a little bit. She can clear him coming out of turn number 2. Is it enough side by side? He now has the nose ahead, and they're very much on the dead heat. And Pellerin to the inside, and just like he did it to her, she does it back to him, but she's not quite clear yet. Still doesn't have a clear lane, but she has the upper hand right now as they come to turn number 3, and Becky Pellerin back on the lead of the race. Kay Taylor right behind her, Riley McKee behind them, Tammy Barton closing the top 5. You see there how Matt Stern and Thomas Culler, who got involved in that first caution, have quite a bit of damage, and that has affected their speed quite a bit, especially in the case of Thomas Culler, who has a tire rub. Matt Stern is having to drive the modified. Thomas Culler has poor steering. Kay Taylor makes the move on the inside of turn number 2 for second place. And is it enough? Not enough. Side by side, turn number 3 is going to be the place to pass for the Luke Star Ernest Lewis cars. They seem to be stronger on those corners, while everyone else has been better at making passes on turn number 2. You can see how the 25 clears the 85 at the exit of turn number 3. They almost make contact, but there goes Kay Taylor. He's now running second. Riley McKee making the move for the third position. Joey Torkson right there trying to make the move from 5th. For 5th, jumping all the way from behind Lucy Barton. He takes 6th. He's going to take 5th as they round out the second turn into the short chute. And that is it. Joey Torkson's now 5th. Thomas Tucker and Luke Pellerin. Look at Luke Pellerin's climb. He started 27th, gained 14th positions, he's now 13th, chasing down the 99 of Boyd Abbott and the 66 of Katie Ashcroft. You ride with Lee Schmidt, who's running in 6th place right now, chasing down Joey Torkson and Corbin Dempsey to his inside. Dempsey ready to make the move on the inside, lost a few positions due to adjustments on pit road, but he's already working his way forward, passes the 22 for the 5th position. And is going to put the pressure on the number 0 for the 4th spot. Look, Pellerin forcing a 3 wide. Unable to, actually. The 9 was on the outside. The 99 was in the middle. The 9 gave up, and the 99 is just going to give up as well. Joey Torkson out to the inside of the 85 of Charlie Falkner. He's not letting the pressure by Dempsey dissuade him from making a move to get into the top 3. Lee Schmidt takes the 5th position now again. And Kay Taylor to the inside of his teammate and mentoree. And Pellerin trying to hang on the outside gets a good launch. She gets a good launch. And Kay Taylor backs the line a little bit. Lets her stay quite eased up. And he retains the lead. But Kay Taylor's going to try the move again on the inside of turn number 1 side by side. There's no teamwork there. And there goes the 25 to the inside, hanging on. They're still dead even. Charlie Falkner must be loving this because it's keeping him in close vicinity. But here comes Joey Torkson on the inside to make the move for 3rd place. Diving on turn number 2, Joey Torkson trying to make the move work. Is it going to be enough? Looks like it might. Kay Taylor to the inside of the 27, about to clear her. Cannot quite do that. and he challenges Becky Pellerin for the lead, has the nose ahead as they come to turn number 3. Is it enough? Looks like it will. Kate Taylor is gonna clear the 27, but here comes the 27 with a crossover move. The 27 backs the line, the 25 backs the line a little bit, 3 wide. For third place, Corbin Dempsey, Joy Thorson, Charlie Falkner. Becky Pellerin holds the lead, and they essentially just swap the lanes, and now Becky Pellerin's back on the inside. And you see right there the 0 of Joey Torkson to the inside of the 85. They're side by side. Lee Schmidt trying to force a 3 wide. He goes to the inside. Lee Schmidt on the 3 wide. Turn number 1. And Corbin Dempsey almost forces a 4 wide. Dives deep. And now they're all 3 side by side. Lee Schmidt takes the 3rd position. Kate Taylor hanging on to 2nd. And there you see as they come down to turn number 2, Schmidt trying to clear the 0 and the 81. And he's gonna do it. He's gonna clear them all as they're side by side. The 81, the 0, and the 85. They make contact. And there's trouble. That's the 2nd caution of the race. Ronnie Sample sent around. Ruby Carson involved. Big trouble. Big trouble. You see the damage on the 77. Completely sheared off the front end of the 77. And Ruby Carson's definitely done for the day. You watch the rear end camera of Lee Schmidt. Dempsey dove so deep. Joey Torkson just had no option but to react. You see how he makes contact with the 0. The 0 shifts around right in front of Riley McKee. McKee misses Charlie Falkner by just a little bit. But that is not enough. Robert Burton right there has to scramble as well. Thomas Tucker scrambles as well, and Ruby Carson hits the 85, and that destroys the latch that holds the front end of the 77, sends that hood flying away. Look, Pellerin sees that incident as well, tags the 7 of Ronnie Samples. Kitty Ashcroft involved as well. When she slowed down, she got hit by the 7 got hit by the 88, and the 7 got sent around as the 77 gets involved in a massive incident. And that is a lot of damage. That's going to affect the steering on the 85, even though he doesn't have that much visible damage. The field comes to the pits on lap number 36. That's going to be the 2nd stop under yellow of the race. You see there how the whole field comes through in one swift motion. You're going to see there how a lot of the drivers choose to pit for 4 tires. But look, Pellerin, Lee Schmidt, and Joey Torkson choose to pit for only 2. And look, Pellerin and Joey Torkson are actually going to come up in front of the whole field. Despite the damage accrued in the crash, Pellerin is going to choose to restart up front, with Becky Pellerin, Kate Taylor dropping to 3rd and 4th. And you see now, with only a couple of laps to the restart, you see how now the Legacy Cup completely changes, how the Summer Series completely changes. Now Boyd Abbott leads the Fay Legacy Cup. Kate Taylor's running 2nd in the Legacy Cup, and now Robert Burton becomes a contender with Luke Pellerin running on the outside. And if you count each position as 0.25, that means Luke Pellerin is much more of a contender than Charlie Falkner is if the damage that Falkner has really does keep him behind. Pellerin's still going to depend on Boyd Abbott and Kate Taylor suffering some kind of issue and dropping back. But now the situation becomes much more precarious for Charlie Falkner on both Legacy Cup and Summer Series. He now is 2 points below Riley McKee and 10 points ahead of Thomas Tucker. The green flag is out and Joey Torkson leads the field to the green. Torkson has been on the tear, has been on very much the same race pace for the win. And we are now a third of the way through, 40 laps in of 120. And the younger Pellerin already sets up the move on the 88. And there goes Becky Pellerin for 2nd place very quickly. The 88 has been slower than the 27 for the whole race, even though he has advanced through the field very consistently. And the damage he got on the crash probably isn't going to help either. Kate Taylor to the inside, trying to take the 2nd position. He dives deep, makes the move on the inside of the 27. Joey Torkson trying to hang on for the lead. But Taylor is on a rush, and he's on a hurry. And there goes Kate Taylor to the inside. Corbin Dempsey's going to try to have a look for the 3 wide again. He knows what he just did. He knows what the trouble was, and he just doesn't care. He's gonna force a 3 wide. Joey Thorson leads the lap, but Dempsey is on a tear. Riley McKee, he sees that he needs to open as many points as he can now that the 85 is at the back of the field, and he now leads by 9 points over Charlie Falkner, 11 over Thomas Tucker. Tucker on the advance as well, but Tucker needs Charlie Falkner to retire because right now there are 36 cars running. Thomas Tucker right now needs to win, and he needs Charlie Falkner to retire as the 36th place car. And then if he's lucky, then he can win the Summer Series. But it's going to be very narrow, as is right now, as Riley McKee goes for second place. A very, very big dive on Kate Taylor and Joey Thorson, and now Riley McKee is running second. Lee Schmidt battling with Kate Taylor for the third position. Boyd Abbott trying to make a move for third place but cannot do it. Becky Pellerin drops all the way to 6th. Thomas Tucker on the advance. Tammy Barton forcing a 3 wide, making a move of her own as we enter lap number 42. And there goes Lee Schmidt to the inside of the 25. Again, the 99 keeping watch very closely. As of now, Boyd Abbott beating Kate Taylor for the Legacy Cup, and Robert Burton becoming an outsider on it, while Luke Pellerin continues to drop behind due to that damage. The steering of that car is not on the up and up, and so he's losing speed. He was in second, and in a matter of 4 laps, he already dropped to, I believe, 16th place right now. He's 17th now. As you see there in the back of the field, the 3 drivers that have the most damage. Charlie Falkner with poor steering, Thomas Culler with poor steering, Matt Stern on the modified. And these 3 are just hanging around 34th, 35th, 36th. Charlie Falkner needs at least 1 more car to retire, and then he guarantees that he's going to stay ahead of Thomas Tucker in the Summer Series standings, but that does not protect him against this man. Riley McKee currently running in second, winning the Summer Series. Becky Pellerin tried to advance, but being on the outside line has really damaged her restart speed. She's dropping all the way back to 9th place, and she's now stuck in a battle with Torkson, Tammy, and Lucy Barton. And chasing her is Marcy Crawford in the 46. Kitty Ashcroft, despite the rear end damage, running very well in 11th place. Jamal Schmidt running in 18th position. He also got a little bit of damage in that wild scramble to miss the 85 when he was spinning. And that actually got his car to overheat a bit. So they're actually trying to just conserve the 55's survival until the end of the race. Hibiki Murata did use the caution in her favor. She was in 39, now she's 19th. Colin Kaiser running in 21st place. He already caught the 88 of Luke Pellerin exactly for the reasons you think. Luke Pellerin is that slow. Kristen Young also improving, running right there in 22nd. Kate Taylor is still running in 5th, now suffers an attack from Thomas Tucker as they enter turn number 2 on lap 46. Is it enough? Looks like it might be. Is it? Is it? It is. And Thomas Tucker is going to take the 5th position with a push from Tammy Barton. You see there Lucy Barton running right behind them with Becky Pellerin. Kitty Ashcroft just passed Marcy Crawford for the 10th position. And there goes Thomas Tucker and Tammy Barton. Vernon Hargrove currently running in 14th place. I had the opportunity to talk with Hargrove a couple of days ago when practice began. And he said that he felt a weight lift off his shoulders with the resolution of that S2 lawsuit with Samson Spark. Another driver that has that weight off his shoulders is Mac Henley, but Hargrove has been very diplomatic. He said that he doesn't expect to like, for example, start winning or demolishing the field or even qualifying consistently still, but he feels that now he feels safer in his role. He doesn't have to prove himself as much, and that has given him a big boost of morale for the days ahead, especially because when you consider the Rookie of the Year battle, no one's going to be able to challenge him. He's not going to be able to challenge the driver of the 97, Tammy Barton, who we are focusing on as she battles Boyd Abbott for the 3rd position. And there she goes on the inside, trying to set up a dive. She's not going to make it, but the 43 chasing the 99 as well. And now she has to defend against the 43. There goes Lee Schmidt to the inside in turn number 2. Is it going to be enough? Looks like he's going to have the clearance. And for the 4th position, there goes Lee Schmidt in and out quick move. 97 drops to 5th. And you see right there how Becky Pellerin is chasing down the 9 of Thomas Tucker. She's now in line and gaining very quickly. Joey Thorson has dropped to 12th place because of the two tires top. Sorry for that jumbling mess. He actually is dropping behind. You see there how Jamal Schmidt has been keeping station in 15th place. Peter Johnson running very well in 16th. Peter Johnson has actually been consistently hovering around the top 20 in the standings. That has been above what I expect anyone thought Expansion Motorsports would have been doing. Kristen Young, another driver that has also been punching above her weight. If she hadn't failed to qualify like twice this season, the 33 team was probably gonna be running very consistently inside the top 20 in the standings. She won the race at Texas World last year, finished 4th in Flemington a couple of weeks ago. She's been doing well. Tammy Barton still in a battle with Lee Schmidt, but Becky Pellerin now fighting with the 97 and the 43. She's gonna try to get back into the 4th position. She's gonna force a 3 wide. There she goes, deep on the inside. Is it enough? She gives up. She gives up as we enter lap 52 of 120. She knows she just needs to be patient. She has one of the better cars in the field right now. Becky Pellerin does not need to overexert herself, nor her car so far. And you see how the 97 and 43 are pretty much dead even. Whenever one passes, the other just passes right back. But that's the wild card that they have to deal with, that are the cars behind them. In the rear end of the field, fairly slow, but not as slow as the true stragglers, are Warren Majeski and Ashley Richardson. They're just not up to speed. Those team specialties have been the short tracks this season. Not so much Torgeson Racing, but Warren Majeski isn't a super speedway guy. This is the first time ever he drives this track. Ashley Richardson hasn't driven in Pocono since before her injury in 2012. So she hasn't been driving at this track since 2011 at the very least, if I recall correctly. Look, Pellerin has dropped all the way to 24th place, so he's bowing out of the Fay Legacy Cup discussion if things stay the way they are. You see how Caitlin Richler, despite the rear end damage from her crash earlier with Joey Anderson and Ethan Collins, are battling for the 25th position. Collins trying to just keep consistency, just keep station, just hang on. He's had a difficult season. He just needs to gain points. That's what he needs to do. And you see how Becky Pellerin passed Lee Schmidt. And now the lead pack is finding themselves in a 9-car conga line. A 10-car conga line with Katie Ashcroft closing the top 10, Marcy Crawford in 11th. Boyd Abbott still holding on to 3rd place. Tammy Martin and Becky Pellerin battling for the 4th position. They're going to try to set up a move on Abbott right now on the Long Pond straight. Is it going to be enough? You see how the field barrels through the straightaway. Not enough yet. Abbott hanging on, holding station. Lee Schmidt making a move on Becky Pellerin. Is it going to be enough? Looks like it will. He's going to put it side by side. So the 27, 43, and 25 very close to each other in 5th, 6th, and 7th. While Tammy Barton now gets to have a little breather as they come to turn number 3, and Lee Schmidt retakes the 5th position. And if you pay attention, you can see Katie Ashcroft and Thomas Tucker losing the pack a little bit. We look at the back of the pack, you see there how Charlie Falkner and Matt Stern are just like side by side trying to pass each other, but neither of them really has the speed. Falkner, because the car is steering so badly, he loses all the speed he gains on the straights. You see how Warren Majeski now, he's reporting a small issue. You can see how Ashley Richardson passes him very easily. But he's reporting that he's just not feeling the amount of power he should be feeling on that car. And that is a little bit worrisome for the number 1. You can see how, oh my god, I think he lost 4th gear. Oh no, that is bad. That is bad for Majeski. He's gonna have to try to hold the car in 3rd gear, and that's just not gonna give him speed at all. And he's just gonna keep dropping further and further behind. But if more trouble arises, he can gain position still. Marcy Crawford running in 11th place, very stationary, while Robert Burton and Joey Thorson continue to swap positions in a battle for 12th that doesn't seem to end at all. This time around, Burton has the 12th position. He just passed Torkson, the lap before Torkson made the same move past him. Hibiki Murata on the upswing, on the run. She's getting ready. She's advancing. And she's now in 14th place, gaining and gaining and gaining. Becky Peller and Kate Taylor running 5th and 6th. Lee Schmidt has now dropped to 7th. Lucy Barton running in 8th. Thomas Tucker 9th. Kitty Ashcroft 10th. So the lead pack right now has 8 cars. They're running single file. A couple of times they make a move or not. It really depends on the movement of the driver. Look at Lee Schmidt making a dive. Dives for 6th. Dives for 5th. Trying to make the move work. And he's going to put it side by side with Becky Pellerin. Look at that. Becky Pellerin gets a very good launch on the exit of the corner. She keeps the position. But in that interim, Corbin Dempsey is going to complete 18 laps at the front of the field. He continues to lead under green flag. Put a couple more laps for the caution. He's been over 20 laps leading this race. So if there's a car that has been showing strength and dominance to the level that Becky Pellerin showed in the early goings on of this race, it's Corbin Dempsey. By the time we reach the halfway point of this race, lap number 60, Warren Majeski continues to try to bring that car to life, trying to drive it around. But like he's peaking at 157 miles an hour, while the leaders can get those cars up to 177, 180 miles an hour at the end of the straights. For example, we're following Corbin Dempsey at the Long Pond Straight. He's going to peak at around 180 laps as he comes to lap the 02, the 85, and the number 8. And you see how Thomas Culler is on the inside trying to pass Charlie Falkner. So now Corbin Dempsey has to compensate, lose a lot of speed. Riley McKee tries to find a move on the outside, but he's not going to find the space. And Corbin Dempsey is going to make the move, and it's going to work out. And he is going to keep the lead, and he's going to force a 3 wide to pass the 85 and the 02. Put them, the first cars a lap down under green flag conditions. And as you see right there, Matt Stern right up next. This is going to be the next car to be lapped. And you see how the 81 already sorts that one out very quickly, very easily. As a matter of fact, as Becky Pellerin now is to contend with Riley McKee for the 3rd position. As they are slowly catching back. Well, has to contend for McKee for the 2nd position because she already passed Lee Schmidt, who was in the 3rd position. And right now, McKee is winning the Legacy Cup by only 8 points, which is not a lot, but it's a win nonetheless. He just needs to keep his stuff stable, and he has this in the bag. You see there how Kate Taylor gets held up by Matt Stern as he tries to figure out a way through the outside. There goes Boyd Abbott. Boyd Abbott trying to run up the score to win the Legacy Cup as well. He needs to create a gap between him and Robert Burton as much daylight as he possibly can. As McKee now trying to sort out a move of his own, he dives to the inside and winning the race here in Pocono would be his 2nd win of the year, his 2nd Super Speedway win of the year, by the way. As Becky Pellerin tries to sort out a 3 wide, she goes to the inside, already sets up the moves, gonna try to make it happen as they come out of turn number 1. McKee on the middle, and not enough. They're still side by side, a dead heat between the 22 and the 27. They are very near each other. They almost make contact. Tammy Barton, they're making a move for the 3rd position as well. As they come to turn number 2, here comes Pellerin to the inside, and she's gonna make the move work. And Becky Pellerin back on the lead after dropping quite a few positions behind, having to work her way up from throughout the last 20 or so laps. Ashley Richardson has an engine problem, goes to the pits. She's gonna come back on track, but she's gonna lose a lap in the pits. While you see there now McKee making a move on lap 64 to the inside of Pellerin. Is it enough? Doesn't look like it is, but he's going to get a good launch. Seems like at the exit of the corner, Pellerin gets a just as better of a launch, and she's going to be able to hold on, but McKee keeping station on the inside. If he has a line on the inside, he's going to have a better lane to launch from on turn number 2 into the short chute leading into turn number 3, and that is exactly what looks like it's going to happen because there he goes, he dives in very aggressively side by side. And as they come to turn number 3, here comes the 22 to hold on to the 1st position. And there goes McKee with the edge ahead as Tammy Barton trying to make a move for 2nd place with a push from her sister Lucy for that position. Lucy trying to get back into the fight for the championship. Tammy Barton trying to run up the board on the Rookie of the Year battle. in the Heat Rookie Challenge, and Riley McKee leads his first lap of the afternoon as Brett Finley, you see they're running in 23rd place, chasing down Lucia Harper, who has a bit of damage, likewise Tony Hart. Meg McDonald working very well. Contact there, Tanner Whitley in the wall. Tagged by the two of Caitlin Richler. That's the second time Caitlin Richler gets involved in trouble. Oh my. Let's watch the rear end camera of Athena Whitley. She gets tagged by the two and hits the wall immediately. And you see how that camera breaks down. The connection, just the cables start to get loose, and that's a lot of damage to that camera and to the rear end of the 03. She's gonna keep it going, but boy, oh boy, let's look at it again. And the officials are not gonna like that. The officials are not gonna like that. They are not gonna like that. Caitlin Richler dove way too aggressively for the 25th position of all of them. As you watch the leaders racing back to the line. Well, the caution came after they already went past turn 2. So we're showing again how they are. The caution came out after they crossed the start-finish line to open lap 65. So you see how Riley McKee holds up the lead. Corbin Dempsey takes the second position. Lucy Barton's going to make a move on her sister to take third. It's going to take fourth. It's going to try to take third. Boyd Abbott's going to go for the sixth position. Kate Taylor in the lead pack right there as well. And Lucy Barton's not going to be able to get to Becky Pellerin, but Corbin Dempsey's going to get to her and jump from fourth to second as the field's getting sorted out under caution. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you see that? Did you see that? Charlie Falkner, Matt Stern, and Thomas Tucker just got involved under. Look at the damage in the front end of the 85. What happened there? Let's watch the rear end camera of Thomas Tucker as he is slowing down to get the caution. And the... Oh my. Oh my. Let's look at Charlie Falkner. What happened there? The 8 just drilled the rear end of the 9, and Charlie Falkner just didn't slow down. Was he paying attention? That is not the first time that happens with Charlie Falkner. We're gonna have to focus on the cars going to the pits, but the officials called both Stern and Falkner to the hauler post-race. They're gonna investigate the issue. They're probably gonna call them to the hauler post-race regardless. But that is not normal. You see there the exit of the pits. Becky Pellerin's able to beat Corbin Dempsey just barely on pit exit. Boyd Abbott jumps to 5th over Demi Barton. Kate Taylor vaults over Lee Schmidt. Robert Burton now joins the top 10 together with Marcy Crawford. But this is not normal, and Charlie Falkner does this. Engine going up the ghost on the 85. I guess he would have received the penalty, but now the engine's done. So he's gonna have to talk to the officials now. And I was gonna mention, this is the 3rd time he gets involved in such an incident. And you see there, Matthew Stern lost the lifeline. That puts Thomas Sculler as the lifeline recipient as he goes to the pits together with Aaron Majeski. But Charlie Falkner already had a telling to by the officials on the race at Road America, where he got together with Becky Pellerin when they were doing 1-2. Becky Pellerin was said to have slowed down without telling him, but he also wasn't paying attention. Then he dumped Ethan Collins under caution 2 weeks ago in Flemington, and that arguably cost him the race there. And right now, it is costing him a hand at 200 championship points, because Boyd Abbott now is essentially only having to deal with Robert Burton and Kate Taylor as his direct contenders, maybe Lee Schmidt as an outsider. You see there, Marcy Crawford entering the pits on lap 69 before the restart. Her engine gives up the ghost. She's done for the afternoon. And this is going to put Riley McKee as the prime contender. You see there on the graphics, Thomas Tucker is no longer present because Charlie Falkner is going to finish in 36th. And Matt Stern's also done, and Mark Stern's still running. But with Charlie Falkner done in 36th, there is no credible avenue for Thomas Tucker to win this race outside of to winning the Summer Series, outside of winning the race. So we get the restart. Becky Pellerin already takes the lead, and we're bound to have someone that isn't a direct title contender winning the Legacy Cup, and Riley McKee could be backing into the Summer Series by virtue of not getting involved in a crash under caution. And as you see there, McKee to the inside as they are all slowly figuring out a train to work with. Kate Taylor lost that position on the pits, but he already goes under Lucy Barton to take the spot with a push from Lee Schmidt, and he's the closest contender to the Legacy Cup to Boyd Abbott, but he depends on Boyd Abbott losing around, as of now, some 10 positions, while Robert Burton needs him to lose, he needs to lose 8 positions. So the gap for Boyd Abbott looks very, very good right now as you watch Tammy Barton advancing through the field. Robert Burton now running in 9th place, but that is not nearly enough considering how well Boyd Abbott's running. Vernon Hargrove making a move on the two-time champion. Vernon Hargrove, I did not know you had that dog in you. He is showing well. He is showing very strongly his power as a driver, while Corbin Dempsey is trying, at least on lap 72, 50 laps to go about that, to chase down Becky Pellerin to give her a challenge, because Dempsey's trying to get back into direct title contendership. Becky Pellerin is likely gonna do that now that Charlie Falkner is done for the day, while Warren Majeski, Thomas Culler, and Matt Stern are still running in the rear of the field. I mentioned that Faulkner's gonna finish 36th, but Marcy Crawford's gonna finish 35th. So that means that there are not enough points anymore for Thomas Tucker to win this title of the Summer Series through direct competition. He would need to win the race, and right now he has a lot of damage. We don't know, and honestly, I sincerely doubt he will do that. Catherine Ashcroft currently running in 12th place. Hibiki Murata is running in 11th. Look at that climb. Hibiki Murata started in 37th, if I'm not mistaken. So she's running pretty well. Thomas Tucker currently running 19th. You see there him ready to make the move on the 33 of Kristen Young. But the damage at least hasn't made that car unsteerable. But the rear end of that car is definitely not on the up and up. Another car whose rear end is not on the up and up is Athena Whitley. What you didn't see right there is that she, for the length of the Long Pond Straight, she was showing doing a small one-finger salute for Caitlin Richler, just showing her appreciation to the North American Auto Club Selfie Queen, who has also been called to the officials hauler. The graphics don't show that yet. And whoa! Kendra Brittany up in smoke from 15th place. Kendra Brittany up in smoke from 15th place. Tammy Barton must be smiling, grinning under the helmet, because her direct contenders for the Rookie Challenge are now both done for the afternoon. Kendra Brittany is going to have to settle for the 34th position. That is not just going to damage, that is going to nuclear annihilate her chances, at least for the short term. And this puts Tammy Barton in a fantastic position, even if she's done right now. Even if she's done right now, she still would be able to outscore both Brittany and Anderson, because Anderson finished 39th because of the crash, and now Brittany's gonna finish 34th. In the meantime, Joey Torks on the lap 76 passes Vernon Hargrove for the 12th position, chasing down Peter Johnson, who's running in 11th, and Robert Burton, who's running 10th. Catherine Ashcroft already made her way up to 9th. You see there how the packs are splitting once again. You see the battle for 16th there between Ethan Collins, Colin Kaiser, and Thomas Tucker. Tucker's on the warpath forward, but right now he needs to win to get the Summer Series. So again, do not get your hopes up about Ashcroft Family Racing riding high again as the Rohirrim on the Summer Series, because it's just really not up to par. But they can ride high on the Legacy Cup with rookie Boyd Abbott. Abbott just needs to stay where he is, and he wins the title. And the 200 bonus points that go with it, by the way, which would put 2 Ashcroft Family Racing cars on title contendership. It wouldn't shift the championship that much. It would just add a new contender to the battle. While you see there Ashley Richardson slower on track, just figuring herself out, waiting for more retirements, and they are coming, because Warren Majeski's car finally gave up on him after running on 3rd gear for the last, 45 laps? They tried to stay as long as they could, see if they could get a big one or something of the sort here in Pocono, but got no sympathy from the planet. And Warren Majeski, the winner at Most Sport, first win of his career in the Challenge Series. We're getting a lot of first-time winners this season. I think we're at the 5th one. So, just not a good result for him, but he's already paid what he was owing this season with Torxel Racing. Put them on the board of winnings for the fourth consecutive year, actually. 2016, 2017, 2018. So they're still on the board. They're still doing pretty fine. Becky Pellerin running in first place. And you see there, 40 laps to go, running very solidly. Actually, I said 2017, 2018. I don't recall. I might be mistaken. I don't think Joey Turkson won a race in 2017. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. We're going to have to check. But Thomas Tucker currently running in the 10th position. So he's on the warpath. Only winning matters for him. And he's taking that call to heart because he already caught Kitty Ashcroft, his teammate. And, well, I would say she's the newest standout amongst the Ashcroft family racing, because that dynasty has always had very good drivers, especially on super speedways, but she's showing that she really has a competence to be dealt with, to know, to notice, and she's doing pretty well. Also, just a reminder, yes, Joey Turkson did win in 2017, as I was mentioning on that stat line. He won at the New York Auto Ring on a fuel gamble that paid off. So, yes, Turkson Racing has won in 2016, with 2 races won by Joey in 2016. Then his win at the New York Auto Ring, and now this year at Mosport with Warren Majeski. As you see the field spreading away, Kristen Young, slow on traffic. She is done for the day. A part in that car gave up the ghost as well. Another mechanical retirement on this race. I'm glad that we're actually having a majority of mechanical retirements. You know how problematic it could be if we were having more and more and more and more incessant, endless crashing. So it does speak that these guys are putting their cars to the limit. The crew chiefs are going overtime to make this work, but at least we're seeing that they're extracting everything they can from these cars, and that this race is pretty long, because we're now 2/3 of the way through lap 83 of 120. Caitlin Richler currently running in 23rd place, despite that all of that rear end damage from the first caution, not even counting the front end damage from the second caution. So I guess she's trying to build as much of a cushion as she can for the inevitable or evitable penalty that may ensue, and she needs the points. While the sisters are working together, the 98, the 97, Lucy Barton, who some of the people have called Lioness due to her style of driving, very prowling, aggressive, just look at you and chase you to the ends of earth, and she's doing that to her own sister. So there's no familial ties there. Lucy Barton's gonna try to finish as high as she can. Colin Kaiser carrying the flag for Zach Tech right there in 20th place, doing the best he can. Right up ahead of him, losing the pack a little bit, are Hibiki Murata. She lost a little bit of rhythm, but she's in 18th after starting 37th. Again, not a small feat at all. While Ronnie Samples, who he has already said that he is not going to do the full-time season next year, he's in search of a second driver. He said a second driver. He didn't explicitly say that he's going to enter a second car, but you wouldn't be searching for a second driver unless you were either going to split the season or you were getting a second car. So it's a 50-50. Becky Pellerin continues to lead. You see there Boyd Abbott making a move under Riley McKee. You see how the top 2 has opened a wide gap to Riley McKee and Boyd Abbott. You see there Tammy Barton, Lee Schmidt, and Kate Taylor. So you have a showing of some of the more traditional strong teams in the series. HQS Racing, owned by Connor Swift primarily. He also has other 2 partners. Ashcroft Family Racing with the 99. The Luke Star Ernest Lewis conundrum there with the 25 and the 43. And Nelson Racing with the 97, 98. All 4 of these teams are essentially factory outfits with direct factory support from their engine manufacturers like Toyota for HQS, Ford for the Ashcrofts, BMW for the Nelsons, and Chevrolet for Ernest Lewis, and by extension Luke Star. And you have a Luke Star car leading, and then the factory Chrysler team off Shield Motorsports running second, opening the gap. But as you see there, not a lot of alteration on the Summer Series standings, because Riley McKee has not left the top 5 at all. So the gap can diminish, but it cannot be overcome if McKee stays where he is. Joey Turkson has dropped a bit back to 11th place. Kitty Ashcroft and Thomas Tucker are still running there 9th and 10th. Peter Johnson and Vern Hargrove have both passed Robert Burton. Hargrove having a banner race so far here in Pocono. Remember, he won the Try Hard 500, but this is a whole nother animal of super speedway. Kate Taylor chasing down the 22 now. And you see there how Murata samples have both caught Jamal Schmidt. Jamal Schmidt losing quite a bit of steam as the race progresses. You see there Luke Pellerin in the back of the pack, while Lucia Harper running up there as well. There goes Lucy Martin. You can see how she prowls. She just sticks the nose in, and she lets McKee just hand her the line so that she can take the position, and McKee just doesn't have a line to fight with. It's fantastic. I love seeing Lucy Martin drive around because she just shows a lot of that measured aggression that we don't tend to see. You can see how Boyd Abbott already tries to force a 3 wide, and that's what unmeasured aggression is, because he tries the 3 wide and he's just not gonna make it. She's just gonna take the position from McKee and keep her position as it is. As you see there, Ashley Richardson has now dropped far back enough to be caught by the number 02 and the number 8. Looks like she also lost 4th gear like Majeski, but she's hanging on. At least that car hasn't given up the ghost, and if Majeski can survive 40 laps with 3 gears, Richardson could probably make those last 32, 33 laps. So you see how Becky Pellerin laps the 58, and now the 81 caught her at the worst possible spot and loses quite a bit of time. His luck is that there are more cars to be lapped by Pellerin. He's gonna catch back in no time. Look, Pellerin now running in 20th place. The older Pellerin is not the type of super speedway guy. We haven't seen him really build good events on super speedways. Becky Pellerin finished, I believe, 2nd or 3rd on the Try Hard 500 last year. Has won the Daytona Super Speedway race this season. So, and she could have won the Fontana race, so she knows how to drive her way around super speedways. Doesn't matter the shape, doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the style. She can do it on pack racing, drop racing, line racing, tandem racing, doesn't matter. As you see there, Lucy Martin making a move for 3rd place on Kate Taylor. And again, you can see how the prowling Lioness just makes a look. She sees the tail end of the 58 and she just makes the move. She knows that Richardson's not going to move away. Richardson is way too competent for that. Taylor was in a rush and got caught in his own rush, tripped on the shoelaces of himself, and that has allowed Riley McKee to take the 5th position. So now the gap for the Summer Series is only 6 points, but it's 6 points. Riley McKee's still winning, doesn't matter. Lee Schmidt now battling with Boyd Abbott and Tammy Barton. Tammy Barton, Boyd Abbott almost making contact there. They make contact there on the exit of the corner. That could have ended much worse than it did. Boyd Abbott not thinking at all. He's just making moves, and he's trying to make them happen as we reach lap number 95. Becky Pellerin's now going to make her final stop of the race. The last caution was on lap 65, so yeah, we have a range of a fuel range that could be very broad from lap 95 to lap like 103, 104. And there goes Joy Torkson and Caitlin Richler, the first takers of this pit stop. They're going to try to go for an undercut and see if they can gain track positioning with it. Corbin Dempsey's going to take the lead provisionally. You can see how the Legacy Cup standings change a little bit. Because of that, you see how Riley McKee drops behind because he also elected to pit. And you see there Corbin Dempsey on the inside lane hanging on very consistently. And there he goes. That's a perfect, pitch perfect entrance. You see there why the standings on the Summer Series changed. You're seeing how Riley McKee came into the pits very calmly, very measuredly. But he had to slow down quite aggressively. I wonder if something happened to that car when he was slowing down, because Lucy Martin now and Kate Taylor are running 1-2 chasing down the 99. As you see there, Corbin Dempsey and Riley McKee coming out. Hibiki Murata and 79 of Lucia Harper also came in. Nathaniel Whitley came in. Oh no! Oh no! No, 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 no. You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. No. No way that happened. No way Riley McKee just blew the pit entrance speed. He blew the pit entrance speed. He is gonna have to go through pit road again. And that changes a lot. I don't think it changes everything, but it changes a lot because there you see Kate Taylor, Thomas Culler, who's a lap down, Catherine Ashcroft, Thomas Tucker, Vernon Hargrove, Robert Burton come in. You see there on the previous lap how Rebecca Pellerin came back in front of Corbin Dempsey, so her undercut worked. She built a bigger difference to Dempsey than she had it when she stopped, so that perfectly worked. And you can see how I'm flabbergasted by it. It is not usual for us to have penalties of speed here, because not only these cars have pit limiters, it is very bad for you to botch the entrance like that, but seems to have been the case. Riley McKee has to go through the humiliation of going to the pits, making a simple stop, and then going. That's going to put him on the tail end of the lead lap. That doesn't put him one lap down, thankfully, because Lucy Barton hasn't pitted yet, and she is driving slower laps. The fastest lap she did so far is 54 seconds, 54.5. She's running a 58.6. So you can see how the tires have been chewed on. They lost 4 seconds in the last few laps. Boyd Abbott running in second now after the 25 pitted. So he's just like marking his position, trying to build a cushion. While at the end of lap 99, Tammy Barton and Matthew Stern come in. Peter Johnson also comes in. So we're having a very long pit cycle there. We're going to be on the 4th lap of this pit cycle. While Boyd Abbott still running in second as we open lap 100. Lucy Martin continues to lead by a wide margin. And you see there how Caitlin Richler and Megan McDonald have been put a lap down because Martin stopped. And coming to lap 101, you see there the exit of turn number 3, how they launch off. I think that this is one of the most beautiful turns in auto racing. And there goes Lucy Barton to the pits. Boyd Abbott with her. They elect to be the last ones of the leaders to come into the pits. And let's see if that's going to work, because now Becky Pellerin just hit the exit of turn number 2, entrance of turn number 3. She laps the 58 again. Ashley Richardson's going to go to the pits again, get some repairs, try to get that car not overheating anymore. You see how the rest of the field pits as well. So she's going to gain a swath of positions here on pit road as we open lap 101. And let's see there on the front of the field. And Lucy Barton didn't leave the pits yet. So Becky Pellerin is going to retain the lead. Let's see if Lucy Barton can beat Corbin Dempsey. And no, she's going to fall behind Joey Thorson and Lee Schmidt. And the overcut did not work for Lucy Barton, at least on a fuel level. However, remember what I just mentioned. This track chews tires like it's gummies. So this puts Kate Taylor inside the top 5. So he now becomes a credible contender to Boyd Abbott, because now he's finishing ahead of Abbott. You can see there on the scoreline. Because they are both ahead of Boyd Abbott, Robert Burton and Kate Taylor are catching the 99. While Thomas Tucker is still far away, not being able to cook anything. Riley McKee, here's the thing. Thomas Tucker could still win this, but he needs to win the race. Riley McKee needs to gain 10 positions in these last laps. He has the car to do it. The problem is the distance and the time. While you see the Robert Burton running in 10th place, Boyd Abbott running in 11th, they are eye to eye for the Legacy Cup. They are both tied with 8.75, but Robert Burton is beating on the tiebreaker. So Kate Taylor could still win this if he gains 2 more positions. He's running 3rd. He needs to win this race, or he needs both the 23 and the 99 to drop 2 positions. While Riley McKee, you see there, he just gained the 21st position from Scott Overton. He's in the march. He's going ahead. He needs to gain spots. That's what he needs to do. He needs to gain. Kate Taylor is still running 3rd, running well, running solid on lap number 103. Right now, he needs 2 more positions. He needs 1 more position to tie the 23 and the 99. If he gains 2 more, he wins without a tie. But here's the thing. He doesn't need to gain positions if Burton and Abbott loses. The problem for him in that sense is that those 2 are isolated. They're on an island of their own. So really, the initiative has to come from Kate Taylor. He has to gain the positions, while Jamal Schmidt is an outsider because he just doesn't have the speed. He would need to gain 3 positions for his average to go to 10.0. Then he would need to gain 4 more positions for his average to go to 9. Smoke on the 25. Smoke on the 25. That's another contender out. Kate Taylor done for the afternoon. Engine failure on the 25 with only 16 laps to go. And that is the 4th caution of the race. He is not going to make it back to the pits. He pits. He parks on the access road on turn number 2. Caution is out. And this again doesn't change everything, but it changes a lot. We lose another Legacy Cup contender, and Boyd Abbott gains a couple of spots because Catherine Ashcroft has a problem on her car. The tire failed on that car, but when they went to try to take it out, it got stuck. They couldn't remove the wheel, and they had to park the car for good. Kitty Ashcroft was running inside, well inside the top 15, looking at a solid top 10, and she has nothing to show for it. What a shame for the driver of the 66, just not having a good time at all in these Fay Legacy Cup events. Thomas Culler is going to get another lifeline, which he has to be thanking his lucky stars for, because he wouldn't have gotten this lifeline if it wasn't for the penalty for Matt Stern. He would have been 2 laps down. Now he's back on the lead lap. And you see there how Boyd Abbott now has a 8.25 average. Robert Burton has a 8.75 average. Burton needs to finish 3 positions ahead of Abbott to win it. Riley McKee needs to gain 6 positions to win the summer, 7 positions to win the summer series, because he doesn't have a tiebreaker. He has Caitlin Richler right ahead of him, so she's likely gonna concede him the positions. Just normal team playing, that's all. We get the restart on lap 109, 12 lap shootout. And you see there how Joey Thurston already ready to make the move. The Barton's already ready to make the move on the inside. And Lee Schmidt having a look on the inside of the 81. Is it going to be enough? Thomas Tucker's up there as well. You see how Riley McKee already gained 2 positions on the restart. He's driving deep, making as many positions as he can, while Lucy Barton diving to the inside of the 43. Is it enough? Looks like it will. She's going to try to have a look on the 81. She's using those newer tires to her advantage, and she dives deep. And she's going to try to catch the 81 at the entrance of turn number 3. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? Not enough. Not enough. She retracts her claws just a little bit. And then she shows them again. She dives on the exit of the corner, gets a great launch. Presses the 81 against the wall. The 81 has to back off just a little bit, and that's just what she needs. And that's what Riley McKee needs. He passes Scott Overton, he passes Megan McDonald. As it stands, him and Charlie Falkner are tied. He needs to pass. Actually, no, he's 1 point behind. He needs to pass Hibiki Murata to tie it all. If he ties it all, he's in it, and he's in it deep. Oh, my word. Barton and Dempsey are still battling very close to each other as we're rounding out the corner on lap 110 to open the last 10 laps of this race. 27 off Becky Pellerin, leading away. And Barton trying to use those newer tires to her advantage, trying to make something work. Brett Finley with problems, and he slows down, gets tagged by Tony Hart. Hart wasn't expecting Finley to drop to the inside right there with only 9 laps to go. Finley's gonna go through the whole process of driving around the field to pit and retire his car. Robert Burton currently running in 9th place, right as on the cusp of making a move on Boyd Abbott as Thomas Tucker continues to advance his way through the field. Tucker trying to gain as many positions as he can, out of a sense of, I need to gain those championship points, and he does need to gain those championship points. He can be a contender again, a direct contender again, if he finishes well. McKee, in the meantime, he's gonna cross the line in I believe 13th place, and that is just not enough. Still, he's still 2 points away. He needs to finish 11th. He needs to finish 11th to tie the summer season. Then he needs to finish 10th. He passes Vernon Hargrove. Now he's 1 point behind. He needs to pass Jamal Schmidt to tie it all. And then he needs to pass Hibiki Murata to win it all. It's gonna be narrow, it's gonna be close, and he's gonna try to do everything he can to succeed as he dives on the inside of the 55. And he's gonna stick the cars side by side as they leave turn number 2. And coming to turn number 3, he already has Hibiki Murata right ahead of him, and he's already gonna try to set up the move on her. You see there how Lucy Barton running very solidly right there in the 2nd position, trying to keep herself steady, catch the 27, and make it work. But it's going to be very narrow for her to make that move stick, while Riley McKee has dropped a couple of positions behind, trying to catch the leaders. And you see there how Pellerin and the 98 and the 81 are opening a large gap to the rest of the field. The 9's around, the 22's involved. And Thomas Tucker is going to bounce right back in front of traffic. Missing. Oh my. What a hit by the 16 of Ethan Collins. Ronnie Samples involved. Other cars involved. Racing back to the line. The 27 of Becky Pellerin takes retains the lead. And we're gonna have to take a look at this incident. You see there Boyd Abbott, Thomas Tucker, Riley McKee, and they... Oh no, they drifted together. Riley McKee into the back of the 9. Oh my. Oh no. Massive hit by the 16 of Ethan Collins. Nowhere for him to go. Oh my word. What is your problem, Riley? Oh my. And Collins just really picked the line, and Tucker, he was trying to hang on, and he was just carried straight into the wall. With 7 laps to go, he bounces right back on the outside, gets hit very hard by the 16, the 7, and I believe the 79. He climbed out just to ease your worries, but that was very much not normal. Ronnie Samples picked the line. He started to slow down. Nothing he could have done there. A massive hit. Really, you look there at the slow motion, and the 22 just... I have to say it again, he just dumped the 9 quite unceremoniously, actually. It's the first time I see Riley McKee do something like this in his career, so I can chalk it up the desperation, but the 16, the 7, the 79, 30 gets involved too. Nowhere for Colin Kaiser to go, and really, it just makes it's just not sensible to do something like this on a straight like that. I know they were throttling back up, and that's what makes it more dangerous, more problematic. The good thing is that the 16 was already slowing down when he came up, but it's still such a hard hit at the driver's side. It can be so dangerous. And it's for essentially what is a championship. It is for the Summer Series. The officials understood it too, and they instantly penalized Riley McKee. I don't know if he should have even been disqualified. I don't understand why he would have even done it. I really fail to rationalize all of this, but he got a penalty, and this is gonna force a 2-lap showdown. Boyd App.
Guys, my gauges are all red. They're all red.
Okay. Boyd, that might be the fuel line. Try to stay on track. Calm down. Try to stay on track for as long as you can. We're just gonna have to finish these 2 laps.
Oh no.
I'll figure something out.
Oh no, this might be the worst possible news for a driver. Oh no. The fuel pressure down on the 99. That puts Robert Burton in the catbird seat, because if something happens to Abbott, he's in a perfect position. Something happens to Burton on this 2-lap shootout, then Jamal Schmidt's in the perfect position. So now Riley McKee has to gain 13 positions in 1 lap. And Boyd Abbott has to hang on with a car that might be running out of fuel due to a fuel line failure. That is harrowing. You see there how Riley McKee actually gains the positions on the restart. Lucia Harper slows down on the restart. Very slow. Riley McKee passes already 4 cars after the green flag is out, so he gains a few positions right there. He now catches the 06. Boyd Abbott slowing down, and that is gonna be it for Boyd Abbott's chance at 200 championship points. That car does not have fuel. He runs dry at the exit of turn number 3, and he's out of it. This is gonna hand the lead of the Legacy Cup at the white flag to Robert Burton. Tammy Barton, Lucy Barton battling for the 3rd position, fighting with Corbin Dempsey for the 2nd spot. Robert Burton's in the perfect position there. Riley McKee needs to gain 6 positions in this final lap. And there goes Lucy Barton to the inside of Corbin Dempsey. Bellerin is well clear of the number 98 and the number 81. And she's well clear entering turn number 3. Lucy Barton's going to take the 3rd position. Tammy Barton's going to try to make a move for 3rd. Lucy Barton's gonna hold on to second, but rounding out the final corner, Becky Pellerin has a wide gap, and she's gonna round out the final corner to win in dominant fashion here in Pocono. A hell of a win by the driver of the 27th, 7th win of the year. Riley McKee is gonna close out the day in 16th place, passing Jamal Schmidt on the final lap. That is not gonna be enough to win the Summer Series. That will go to Charlie Falkner, and Robert Burton will end this day in 7th and win the Fay Legacy Cup and the 200 points that go with it. This was complete and utter domination by the part of Becky Pellerin. Not only she led from the pole, she led 79 of these 120 laps, so she maxes out at 155 points. Lucy Barton settles for a bittersweet second place. If she had a few more laps, she may have had the time to pass Pellerin on better tires. Her sister does finish right behind her in 4th, which is a fantastic result for Nelson Racing, and an even better result for Tammy Barton's Rookie Challenge hopes. Corbin Dempsey makes it out in 3rd place. He's the one driver that had something to fight against Becky with consistency enough, like provided he was also the only other driver to lead laps in the double digits today. But he has to settle for a narrow podium finish. Considering that trouble early with Joey Torkson and Charlie Falkner, that is better than nothing. While Lee Schmidt gains about 10 positions, he started back in 15th, 16th to close the day inside the top 5. Joey Torkson settles for 6th place, with Boyd Abbott failing to finish the final lap inside the top 10 due to the fuel pressure failure. That gives Robert Burton 7th place, enough to win him the Legacy Cup. He started 23rd. Everything just lined up perfectly for him at the drop of the green flag. Peter Johnson started a row behind Burton but survived to climb as many positions as he could. The 69 rides in 8th place, while the highest position gains today are from Hibike Murata, the Japanese driver with a spectacular performance from 36th place to 9th, while Vernon Hargrove finally gets a top 10 on the board in 2018, being the best S2 car at the drop of the checkered. Luke Pellerin climbed from 27th to 11th, so performance was not that much of an issue for the Ernest Woods Racing and Luke Star broad front, so much so Megan McDonald also closed her day with a top 15 after starting in 32nd. And even that is not as impressive as Scott Overton making his way up to 12th after not even qualifying on time for today. Mac Henley will close his afternoon in 14th, and well, these next two are gonna hear it. And not from just a couple of people. More than a few people are probably going to want a couple of words with them. Because Caitlin Richler and Riley McKee were trouble personified today. Richler got herself involved in 2 spins with Joey Anderson and Athena Whitley involving multiple cars. And the officials haven't said anything about her yet, but they have called Riley McKee to the hauler. And they're probably going to call her up too. Especially given how HQS Racing already had that big cloud over them from Flemington a cup of coffee ago, so I wonder if they're gonna get something more. Regardless, Jamal Schmidt just lost speed out right at the finish with those fuel pressure issues. Boyd Abbott had to pit, Jamal stayed, and he started 10th, has to settle for 17th, while Tommy Culler also got involved in trouble earlier in this race, but not of his own doing at least. And he closes his day inside the top 20, joined by Brett Finley and Colin Kaiser, 2 guys that also started further back outside the top 30 with him. Athena Whitley ends up the last driver to finish the race on the lead lap because she got a jumping the restart penalty at the finish, and she had to go through the pits at the white flag, and so she finishes in 21st. And poor Boyd Abbott did everything right. Did everything perfect, had those 200 points in the bag, and then all the gauges started going red. He tried finishing it, but he has to settle for a bitter, spoiled 22nd placement, and it just sucks for him. Lucia Harper blew up on that restart, does not finish the race, but does defeat Ashley Richardson, who, while finishing the race, her car was just not up to par at all with Pocono. Dwight Johnson was never a big super speedway, at least the team was never a big super speedway team. So she took her calling on to survive, stay out of trouble, and not mind being laps down. That worked. She timed 36th in qualifying, gained 12 spots, and will stay inside the top 25, the last car running today, 4 laps down. And then you have the plethora of cars eliminated on incidents and mechanical failures. Of course, you have Tony Hart in 25th. Ronnie Samples, Ethan Collins, Thomas Tucker were the only cars eliminated in that big crash caused by McKee on lap 14, with Matt Stern, Kitty Ashcroft, Kate Taylor, Kristen Young, Warren Majeski, Kendra Brittany, and Marcy Crawford eliminated by different mechanical ailments. And it's worth to point out how disastrous these engine issues were for the 26 and the 46 crew, whose cars have been the standouts for New England Automotive Technologies. So much so, Kendra Brittany is a challenger for the Rookie Challenge, and this has just put a big damper on her chances. Then you got Charlie Falkner, and the officials are also gonna want to talk with him and Matt Stern and try to understand what the heck happened there, because this is about the 3rd different time Charlie Falkner does something under caution. In Flemington, you can argue it did cost him the whole race. So what gives? We're gonna have to see if the clear consequences of his actions being felt in the points will lead him to improve, because the last 3 races for him have been beyond a disaster. However, Riley McKee having a worse performance, all things considered, does mean Charlie Falkner loses the Legacy Cup, but he does get $2 million richer in the Primetime Summer Series without needing to finish the race. Bringing the rear of the box score, you see there Ruby Carson and Joey Anderson eliminated by crashes, Ryan Falkner eliminated by a valve issue 30 laps in, and Carly Ellison, who didn't even complete 20 laps before her car gave up the ghost. With the HMS service and maintenance done and dusted, this will close out the Fay Legacy Cup, and Robert Burton, as we mentioned, comes out as champion and will earn himself and Overton Motorsports 200 points. After everything went wrong for everyone but him, Jamal Schmidt and Boyd Abbott will tie in the scoreline, but Schmidt finished 3rd against Abbott's 6th place, and that's going to be the tiebreaker. Falkner finishes 4th with his 36th place finish, while Luke Pellerin, Joey Torkson, Timmy Martin, Lee Schmidt weren't even contenders, but they jump into the top 10, and Kate Taylor falls from 5th to 8th place. In the Summer Series, McKee needed to finish 11th after Falkner failed to finish. He wasn't able to. Charlie Falkner survives by the skin of his teeth 5 measly points, and not only wins the bragging rights, but also the $2 million. Thomas Tucker, despite it all, was able to shave at least a few points to end his Summer Series 28 points down to Falkner, while Luke Pellerin holds on to 4th, beating his younger sister by 10 points, and with her win, Becky does vault over 5th place because Lee Schmidt gained a big amount of points, enough to tie with Becky, but Becky beats him on the tiebreaker by having 3 Summer Series wins to none from the 43. She won both races at Daytona and won today to close it out with a golden key. Now, we gotta look at the actual Challenge Series Championship standings, because with Robert Burton stealing the 200 bonus points from all possible title contenders, we now have everyone seeing eye to eye in this final 9-race stretch, and Luke Pellerin is your new championship leader. He began a massive rally from the second he won the race at Beltsville, and in the last few weeks at Flemington and Watkins Glen, they put him in the perfect position to retake the championship lead from Charlie Falkner, whose collapse in the last couple of weeks is worthy of a regroup, a conversation, an intervention, anything to get him back on the fight, back aligned to fight for this title. Becky Pellerin's win allows her to shave around 100 points from Charlie Falkner, because she was down 175 when the weekend started. She's now down 74. Ryan Falkner's engine disaster means he loses a few points to Luke Pellerin, but not enough to drop him far behind. Likewise, Thomas Tucker. Falkner losing the lead has stemmed some of the bleeding from the mechanical and accidental issues of a lot of these drivers. Just like Becky though, Corbin Dempsey makes up some 60 points on his opposition, and now it's worth to point out because we had those drivers marked in red for you. We no longer have anyone marked in red. Why? Because these are all the drivers that can win the title mathematically with the points we have available. However, if the Try Hard 500 weekend was tomorrow, Corbin would be the last mathematical contender entering those points-paying duels. Keep that in mind. Lucy Barton makes up some 60 points as well, but she is a bit far away just yet to be a credible challenger. Maybe she can pull a rally and join the fray. Too soon to call. But had Charlie Falkner won the Legacy Cup, then we have wiped out a lot of people from that mathematical contendership and some from practical contendership. I hazard to argue Lucy would have been one of them. Riley McKee, Lee Schmidt, Mac Hanley remain within 600 points from the championship leader. Joining them just barely in that club is Caitlin Richler. She's not a threat yet, but if she can pull off a rally as well, this is anyone's game. As you look at the rest of the order as well, Timmy Martin passes Boyd Abbott for 12th. Abbott needed those 200 points. If he had them, he would be well inside the top 10. However, despite it all, he only lost 4 points compared to last week at the Glen. He was 701 behind. He's 705 now. Ashley Richardson lost a fair share of her points gap to the championship leader, but she remains far ahead of her closer contenders in the championship as Megan McDonald passes Kendra Brittany for the 15th position. And now the battle for 17th place is narrower than before, with 3 points separating Overton and Murata, Ruby Carson bleeding around 30 points in a massive drop-off from 17th to 19th, and Peter Johnson still the last mathematical contender for the title, if we count all races available. At the same time, let's look at the Owners' Championship table, because with the announcement of the expansion of the provisionals from 24 to 32, we have to expand the table for you as well. In the brighter red, you have the people that wouldn't have provisionals for next weekend, but would get provisionals for the first races of 2019. If you pay close attention, you can see the gap from Joey Anderson's old 3 to Kate Taylor's 25 and Kristen Young's 33 is large enough to assure him in the top 24 until the start of the next weekend in Nashville, if we look at the realistic possibilities of results. Winning the Legacy Cup has thrown Robert Burton and Lily Briscoe's shared effort in the 23 all the way up to 27th place, well inside the provisional zone for next season. Considering Scott Overton's 62 is also deep inside the top 20, this means Overton Motorsports is almost assured both cars will qualify for the first few events of 2019, which is what was their biggest blind spot this year. That's what put Chris Endicott in such a bad situation at the start of the season. You can see he has remained out of the top 30 in owners points all year in the 63, and it wasn't really his fault outside of the qualifying sessions. The quartet that shares the 30 at Zactac has also kept that car well within reach of a provisional this year and is safely inside the provisionals for 2019. But last we've seen of Zach Kovac, he was very much intending for the 30 to be able to guarantee a spot still in 2018. They haven't given up a fight for a top 24 points finish yet. So pay attention to the 30 car. They are going for it and they are coming for it hot. As you look at the rest of the top 32, Torxon Racing and S2 Motorsports have slightly riskier positions in the standings, though HQS Racing and Ernest Lewis's third cars are much more at a risk of falling off the top 32. HQS mainly because of that 50-point penalty. They're going to have to figure out what to do to keep themselves safe, while Ernest Lewis, it's straight up because Jamal Schmidt hasn't done enough races. If he had done like 2-3 more races, that car would be much safer. Now, let's take a look at the last but not least, Heat Rookie Challenge. Her 4th place finish, while her main opponents faltered, has put Tammy Martin at the undisputed top of the board. She's still catchable mathematically, but at this rate, only a much deeper, worse collapse than the one she already experienced earlier this season would harm her enough to have a proper challenger. Because Kendra Brittany and Joey Anderson, failing to finish early in this race, have dropped their averages quite dramatically. So much so Craig McLean got the third by not even being entered in this race because Joey Anderson just bled 0.89 on his own. So things are starting to look really ugly for those that want to unseat Barton from the Rookie Challenge lead. However, there's a lot of water to roll under the bridge of the 2018 Challenge Series, and the grandest detour in this river is in Illinois. We are going to one of America's most beloved short tracks, the Grand Detour Raceway in Quincy, by the banks of the Mississippi River for the C9 Antifreeze 99. I'll see you there as the Challenge Series enters clutch time.